We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag cause we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We make up America, oh, it's amazing America. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Sergeant Frank and my co-host,
The Bird Dog.
and this week's guest is Lamar and Noah. Amen.
Amen.
What's up?
So this week's show is about an incredible adventure that Lamar and Noah had last Saturday. And your discretion is advised because we will be talking about harvesting and killing animals legally in Florida. So Noah, how long have you wanted to go bow hunting for a turkey?
Well, ever since that Dad showed me some Tim Wells videos, and I started watching them. Ever since I watched a few of his videos of him shooting things with his bow, and especially turkeys, I've always wanted to do it ever since. And how long do you think that was, Dad?
You've been wanting to shoot a turkey with your bow for
A year.
at least a year.
Yes, sir. So about
Yep.
a year.
So for the people that don't know who Tim Wells is, he actually shoots the wing off a bumblebee with a bow.
Basically.
I can do that.
But he took it to the bumblebee hospital and they sewed it back on, just so everybody knows.
The bumblebee was not hurt in this film. So, Dad, how long's Noah been using a bow? When did you get him that bow?
Man, I really can't remember. You know, he started off with some little kitty bows, and then here a few years ago he bought himself like a plastic recurve bow, and then my father had bought him a little compound bow, but it just really wasn't very strong, but it did have sights and everything. And then one day, it's amazing. This kid's amazing. His interaction with people. One day when they were over in Valdosta, I believe, with my mom and my stepdad, they were in where the Bass Pro Shop was.
Yes,
it?
sir.
They were in the Bass Pro
Actually,
Shop Academy.
Yes.
Okay, and they were, you know, he was looking at the bows, of course, and this guy from over in Madison, he just strikes up a conversation with him, and before it's over with, this guy's wanting to give Noah the bow that his son just graduated from because the son went through a growth spurt and grew out of it. His draw length had changed. And so he wasn't kidding. They sent Noah up with a bow. It's a nice little compound bow. Can't remember what the poundage goes up to.
Like 40.
Yeah, 40, something like that, 40, 45. But it fit him just right, and we got it tuned in. And also, before that, a friend of mine gave him a 57?
It was old.
Fred Bear. Is it 35 or 40? I think it's 35, something like that. But a recurve. It's super nice, super sweet. And I don't know, I've just always encouraged him since he was little to shoot a bow because, you know, archery is just a pure thing, you know. And then here a few weeks ago, he was like, I want to kill a turkey with my bow. And so Noah started researching the different broadheads and the different guillotine headshot style broadheads. And he kind of settled on the Magnus bullhead and 100 grain. And so, you know, I looked at it and I was going to pick something out and all that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? The kid made a selection. That's what he wanted. That's what we're going to go with. So that's
Yeah,
what
it's
I got.
pretty good. You got to go with whatever decision they make if they're going to make a decision. So can you tell everybody the difference between a recurve bow and a compound bow for our listeners that don't know what that is?
The compound bow is like it's a bow that has pulleys. It's like a pulley system, and after to a certain extent, it like lets you rest a little bit, basically, so that you won't be tired, but it still pulls. And like when you release it, it just shoots the arrow out.
Right.
And then recurve bow is basically just like all one thing. It doesn't have a pulley system
Right.
or anything like that.
Like the old time bows that were back in the day that people see, like the Indians shooting and stuff like that.
Yeah, the more you pull it back, the harder the draw is. The draw weight does not. I mean, it gets harder as you pull it back, and it stays the same the whole time you're holding it. But a recurve is slightly shorter than a longbow. You know, a traditional longbow is usually longer, and you usually have to shoot it standing up, or if you squat down, you have to turn it sideways. You know.
Okay. Awesome. So how long did you practice, Noah, knowing that you were going to go turkey hunting with this bow? And which bow did you use, the compound bow?
Yes, sir. I used the compound bow.
Okay.
Well, I've always practiced with my bow just because I enjoy shooting my bow and knowing that I'm good with my bow just in case I get a chance on a hog or something. And so I can make a good shot on it where we won't have to track it as far or just plain out miss it. And then ever since Dad was like, we're going to try to get you a turkey this year with the bow, I started practicing more and more and more. And I started getting a little bit more out of my comfort zone, but still in my comfort zone, and shooting at 20 yards just with not the big bullseye, the littler bullseye. And then I started getting good at that, where I would shoot the little bullseye. And I started getting better at 10 and 15. And then eventually I was really good at 20 and then all of them. So
he also started practicing from a sitting position, which was mimicking what he would be doing shooting a turkey.
Well, that's awesome.
And once the Magnus bullhead came in, it came in on a Friday, so we had to get out there and practice because we were going the next day. And so we did the ethical thing. Y'all see it on video later on, but we started out at 10, and he shot it at 10, then we shot it at 15, we shot it at 20. And what we found out was that with his arrow, which is not exactly the right arrow for that head, he did great at 10, he did great at 15, but when he got out to 20, it was all over the place, and so we made the decision to not attempt to take a turkey with that arrow unless he was within 15 yards, and but then Noah surprised me because he was like, well, Dad, if he's out at 20, I'll just shoot him with my Muzzy blade. And I'm like, if you shoot him in the body with that, if it's not just right, he might get away. And I was like, no, I'll shoot him in the head. See, watch. And he grabs
Wow.
He grabs the Muzzy and slings it out there at 20 yards and sticks it in a little 2-inch circle at 20 yards. And I'm like, okay, so we get the arrow and he does it again. So I'm like, well, I guess maybe you could head shoot a turkey with a little 1 1/4-inch cut Muzzy. But
wow.
That's amazing.
We want to see that video.
Tell everybody how old you are, Noah.
I'm 13.
13 years old. Dad's been teaching you how to hunt most of your life, right?
Yes, sir.
All those years you've been alive.
He had his first bow kill when you were, what, 11 or 12 with a squirrel?
I'm not sure.
Can't remember. He might have just been 12, but he had his first bow kill. That was a squirrel at 12. So.
Well, you said Noah was amazing and he could meet anybody, and we found that out quickly too. That's why we like hanging out with him. So y'all went out hunting last weekend or the weekend before last, and you didn't see any, or was it 2 days in a row?
Well, first we went out the Wednesday before youth season, and we got our tent set up. And Noah took some palmetto leaves and stuck them in the ground to mark his yardage out, and we brushed the blind in a little bit, got everything set up, put in that time. Then we put in the time of practice, as we just said, and then we showed up on Saturday morning, and things didn't go like we planned. I mean, we had a picture of 2 gobblers there every day, all week long. We show up on Saturday morning, we can't even hear one gobble.
That's hunting for you, isn't it?
Right. We ended up with 2 jakes came in, and they were bearded, so he could have took one, but they kind of stayed out of range, and that really wasn't what we was after anyway. So we hunted till like 11:30 that day, and we couldn't get a gobbler to come in, and
we didn't hear one.
Yeah, we didn't even hear one, which is odd because we had several there. And so Noah threw me down to go fishing with Papa. I don't blame him at all. And then we went back that Sunday evening and set up where we thought the turkey might be headed, but he still wouldn't come in. And we went to leave because the shooting hours ends at sunset, which was like 7:42 that day. So we got up a little early to make sure that we was within the law. We'd be back to the truck and all, and looked way down the road and ran the gobbler off. So then Noah had to wait a whole nother week, and then we got up Saturday morning and went, and I'll let him finish telling you that.
All right.
We got up Saturday morning, as Dad said, and we went, and
what time did you get up?
5 o'clock a.m.
5 a.m. Okay.
Yes, sir. And we got situated in the tent. We put the decoys up and got situated in the tent.
Now, real quick, how long did you have to walk to get to there from your truck?
Oh, it wasn't that far.
No, it wasn't too bad.
About a quarter.
Okay.
And we got situated in the tent and everything, and we had to get that the thermocell out because the heaters were biting us. Yelped a couple of times, and
well, first I hooted. I did.
Oh yeah, you did a hoot.
And there was nothing, and we thought it was going to be a replay.
Yes, sir. And we're like,
now, why is it important to do the owl call first?
Well, the owl call, it makes them do what they call shock gobble. And, they'll shock gobble at a horn, they'll shock gobble at thunder, they'll shock gobble at a crow or a hawk, but they shock gobble at a hoot owl real well, and the hoot owl is one of the first sounds you will hear that early in the morning. The rest of everything hadn't woken up yet. It's just starting to crack daylight, and it'll you hit the hoot owl real loud, and they'll gobble and maybe not even mean to sometimes, and it'll let you know where the bird's at, where he's going to be coming from, if he's even there, so on and so forth.
Well, that's good for our listeners to hear. So a lot of people might not know that. And we just had done a little, what do you call that, with Eddie Salter. He did a little seminar at Alachua Farm and Lumber over there in Alachua, Florida, and he was talking about that. So I thought that was important for everybody to hear. And let me tell you, you explained it probably better than he did. All right, so go ahead, Noah. You can keep going and tell us how things started happening. How daylight, or was it just daylight? Was it getting real bright? What happened when you first noticed that this gobbler was coming around?
About 15 minutes or 10 minutes after the sun started rising,
Mm-hmm.
and we heard him, and he was like, "Where was he?" Or we were like, "Where was he?" And then,
It's hard to course a bird when you're in one of those tents.
Okay.
You know, it's not sure which way it comes from sometimes.
Right.
yes, sir. We weren't sure if he was in the backfield or back behind us at a shed that we have. And then Dad yelped, what'd you say? One or two times?
I yelled a few times. He wasn't vocally responsive.
Yes. And
Now, did y'all
And
have any decoys up?
yes, sir.
Okay, what do you use
Yes,
for
sir.
decoys? Sorry I'm asking you all these questions, but like a lot of people don't know what goes on out there. So I want to make sure
Oh, yes,
that we describe it pretty good for them.
Well, we use man, I can't remember the make, but the name of it was Pretty Boy and Pretty Girl. It's a plastic full size decoy. The gobbler is very realistic looking, and then we put a real turkey fan in there off of the fan is the tail feathers when they're spread out.
Right.
And we have fans from turkeys that Noah and I have killed in the past, and we put that in there. And the hen is actually in a squatted position as if she's dusting or she's fixing to allow the gobbler to mate with her.
Okay.
And we usually do set up so that the gobbler is, facing the hen. And this particular gobbler, he doesn't have the decoy. He doesn't have a very long beard. He resembles a 2-year-old bird, and that's very important because many times if you have somebody that resembles a very old, very mature tom, a bunch of the younger ones just they won't dare to come in there and get around him too close because they're scared of him. They're
Right.
scared of him. Mature tom's scared they're going to get their tails whipped, and so they won't come in. But another important thing is that we'll see in the video is we moved the decoy about, I don't know, 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards further away this time because we put it just across the road, and the turkeys are used to walking the wheel ruts of the road. And the way the jakes walked around the decoy last time, we decided to put it just a touch further away so that the turkey would be more likely to walk the road right in front of us and give us a good 10-yard shot.
Cool. And did that work out?
It did.
All right, so we know you're a pro turkey hunter and everything, Noah. But when that gobbler is coming in, what are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Well, I try to stay calm to where I will make a good shot and a successful shot. But when your adrenaline gets to pumping and everything, you get to shaking and you're nervous, and it's hard to stay calm. But it's the adrenaline, and you just want to get the turkey, and you're nervous at the same time because you don't want to make a bad shot. It's one of those things where it's hard to explain, but I don't know, it's cool.
Well, you've been around for. Oh, go ahead.
I'll tell you what, when the turkey gets close enough that when he's strutting and they do something called drumming, and it's a very low pitched, not even sure how to explain it. You have to hear it for yourself. But once they get within a certain proximity, not only can you hear that, but you can feel it also, the vibrations in the air. And that'll really get you worked up. I'm going to tell you what, it'll get you excited. But in this particular instance, and I want to focus on this, this was a father and son team, and that's what it's all about. And, I was more than willing and more than happy to not concentrate on myself, but concentrate on my son. And that's what more fathers need to do. You know, this whole thing was about him and for him, and I was trying to video, but I was also his eyes, because he had to sit in a certain position to be able to shoot with the bow. He wasn't able to see which way the turkey was coming from or when he needed to draw the bow so the turkey wouldn't see him. And, you know, once the turkey gobbled the second time, we knew which way to look. And I was there trying to be the eyes for Noah to warn him or to advise him of when he should draw, when he should get ready, what was coming down the road, when it was almost to get. It was kind of a life story or a life lesson all in one turkey hunt. You know, I had the sight to be able to see what was coming, and he didn't. But he was the one shooting. So, you know, I gave him the signal, and he drew the bow out of blind faith in his father that I wouldn't lead him wrong, and I didn't. And, you know, he got it drawn, and then I'll let Noah tell you about him coming in.
Well, you're his hero, and you'll always be his hero, but no matter what. But I tell you, you're absolutely correct when you talk about that's what it's all about, and that's what our program's all about is, you know, we like to take kids out, but we want to take the parents with them because there's no other experience that they're going to remember or talk about when they grow up than being out with their parents, whether it's the father or the mother, hunting, fishing, doing anything outdoors.
That's right.
All right, Noah, go ahead and finish telling us what's going on now. So the gobbler's coming in and...
Yes, sir. So the gobbler is coming in, and Dad told me to draw, so I drew, and
now was he yelling at you in full voice, telling you that, or is he going?
No,
draw
no,
right now.
He's whispering. And I could hear the gobbler strutting and drumming, and it was just an adrenaline rush, and it felt like forever, which was the crazy part, but it was only within a matter of like seconds. It was crazy. And the gobbler came in, and Dad was just, this is what he was thinking after, this was what he was thinking. And because the gobbler paused, right? And then started walking again. And then he paused again. And then he started walking. And Dad was wondering why I haven't shot yet. But I knew that the gobbler would stop before he got to the decoy. And right when so right after the second pause, he walked about 2 or 3 feet and then stopped like I thought he would. And right when he stopped, I shot him and cut his head off.
Wow,
hey, but Bert, let me tell you something. I actually did real good this time. You know, I decided to have faith in my boy. I had watched him shoot. And sometimes you just got to let them do things on their own, you know. I told him when to draw, and then I said, whenever you think, you know, and you watch the video, and it's just a couple of seconds. But, man, it felt like an eternity. I mean, you know, time just slowed down where every little movement of the turkey seemed to take forever. And when you watch the video, it's all over in just a couple of seconds, you know. But Noah waited. He made the right decision. You know, it was a learning experience for me to have more confidence in my son's decision-making abilities, you know, and he accomplished something that, you know, I've killed a turkey with my bow, but I've never shot one in the head like that. So he accomplished something that I've never done myself.
I think he accomplished something that 90% of the men that hunt all the time have done. So I was impressed. I'm sure Sergeant Frank was impressed.
Well, absolutely. I mean, to the whole thing, from the father and son aspect of it, to the incredible skill and the tenacity and dedication that Noah put into his practice, because all that preparation is what made that hunt successful. You know, he's accountable for his actions. He took the responsibility to practice and practice and practice so that when he did get that shot, he was able to be successful.
That's right.
And he learned all that from his hero, his daddy. So, Noah, I got a question now. It's going to sound funny. When you hit him, did he run around with like a chicken with his head cut off?
He didn't.
He didn't? He just dropped right there?
Honestly, I was thinking he would, but he didn't. As soon as I shot him, he literally just fell on the ground and like walked for like, I don't know, 5 seconds,
Yeah,
10 seconds, and then he just died.
Wow, so he
But
was
then-
he was DRT, dead right there.
Right,
Yes,
right
sir.
there. But then when we walked out of the tent and went up there and was gonna like take pictures and all, I don't know, a couple minutes later, then he decides to start flopping all around everywhere. It was crazy.
Oh, that's crazy. So that's good. You know, that he made the shot and it was a great shot and the turkey stayed right there for you. You didn't have to go chasing it and try to put it down because you injured it or anything like that. So it's pretty good. You know, it's funny. Go ahead, Sarge.
Well, with that particular broadhead, it's either a clean kill or a clean miss. There's really no gray area with that situation.
You're right. You're right. You know, and people that turkey hunt, they'll be like, "You're gonna do what?" You know, and you know, my dad and my uncle, boy, they tried not to show their skepticism because they've kind of learned not to doubt me and not to doubt me and Noah as a team because we do amazing things together to pat ourselves on the back. You know?
Hey, you deserve every bit of that pat on the back.
But
Absolutely.
You know what Frank just said is a good point. I have seen lots of turkeys fly away with a bad shot placement, you know, a full load of number 4s from a 12 gauge, and they're probably going to fly off and die. So,
right.
You know, in this scenario, like I told my dad, I'm like, look, Dad, either the turkey is going to be dead right there or he's going to get away unscathed, you know. So really it's a more ethical way to hunt, to be honest with you.
So how are you going to mount this turkey? What's the taxidermy situation going to happen on this bird in particular?
Noah's dad's been bad. You know, he did an interview with y'all here a little while back, and he couldn't quite remember how many turkeys he's killed, and that's because his father doesn't take proper care of the trophies because it's more about the hunt and all for us, you know, and I stay busy. But Noah wasn't accurate. I think this makes turkey like number 6 for Noah. You know,
wow.
Yeah, he's laid them down through the years and watched quite a few more die with me when it was my turn, you know. And but this one was special, and we were going to try to do a fan and wings mount where it kind of looks like an angel up there, and then have the spurs and the beard in the middle. But after working on the tail for like 30 minutes to get all the flesh off and have everything just right, while we were skinning out the rest of the turkey, the wind blew, and our Dotson got the tail and ripped most of the bottom off. But we think we're going to be able to salvage it and hide part of it behind the wings so that, you know, maybe it'll still come out okay.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you this, Lamar. Is it more fun to be out there killing a bird by yourself? Or is it taking one by yourself or being there when your son takes one?
Bird dog, I would trade 50 turkeys for what happened last Saturday.
See, that's awesome. That's the way I feel as well. Now, I don't have, any young sons anymore to take out hunting, but I get my enjoyment of taking kids out. Like, my grandson just killed his first turkey last weekend as well. So it was, not just being with him, but it's just great being with, just seeing the look on these kids' face when you're in the blind with them out there and they're hunting. Frank was like, well, maybe we can get you one. And I was like, I don't need one. I'd rather hunt with 50 kids 50 times before I have to go hunt by myself,
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to where I very rarely go hunting at all by myself, and when I do, I find myself sitting in a stand by myself, and even if I'm in a stand by myself, but Noah's in another stand down the road, I still feel like we're hunting together and we're sharing the memory,
Yes, sir.
But like if I just go to the woods by myself and nobody is able to go or wants to go or they're off somewhere else or whatever, I'm sitting there and then all of a sudden I realize I'm like, if I shoot the biggest buck of my life, no one's here to share that with. So what does it matter? And I've watched, I'm not going to name any names, but I've watched some of my family members that, hunting is everything. And going after that buck or whatever, that turkey, it takes precedence over family sometimes. And I don't know. I've just gotten to the point where if you're not able to share the experience, it's just plumb depressing.
I hear you there.
Lamar, let me ask you a question. What kind of life skills do you think that hunting is teaching Noah when you guys go out to the woods together?
Dude,
as far as
Sergeant Frank is a plethora of skills that people don't ever even think about. In fact, so many I don't even know if I could get them all in here. But waking up early in the morning, people don't know how important that is for a kid to learn how to wake up early in the morning. I mean, you wouldn't believe what that teaches a kid, because they have to get out of bed. They have to force themselves to go against their physical feelings at the time of wanting to stay in the bed and get out. Okay. There's something that can be said about watching the world wake up. You walk to a deer stand in the dark. You learn to get rid of some of your fears, so you help overcome fears. Then you get there. You watch the world wake up. God intended us to see the world wake up in the morning, and to watch the night turn to day, and that changes things inside of you. It gives you a view that many people never even have. There's many people in this world that does not know what dawn looks like because they've never seen it.
right.
The other thing is, you have mosquitoes, you have cold, sometimes you have heat, and then you're sitting still in a stand without the entertainment of today. So it teaches you to be still. It teaches you to be quiet. It teaches you to master your body, to master your emotions, to master your feelings, and to push past, some what am I trying to say? Some
self-discipline.
Yeah, it teaches self-discipline because you're not comfortable. You're not in your comfort zone. The mosquitoes are buzzing. The mosquitoes bite. You're cold. You're hot. You want to move, but you can't move. You're uncomfortable. And kids need to learn how to be uncomfortable, because if you can be uncomfortable and be okay with that and sit in your position and stick to it, that goes on to other things. Because later on in life, when you're uncomfortable in school, when you're uncomfortable in college, when you're uncomfortable at your job site, you think back to those days and you've learned the skills and ability to push through that being uncomfortable push it aside and do what you need to do to make the wheels of America turn. You know, and plus the bonding time. You know, sons and daughters learn to trust their parent if they're out in the woods. The parent leads them, the parent guides them in and out of the woods. You know, there's so many times where Noah just learned to trust me. He learned that I loved him. He learned that I looked out after him. And then all the things in nature. One thing that I've tried to do, and I'm sorry for rambling on, but you asked.
No. We want to hear this.
This is great
you
stuff.
asked, I think I may have said this to y'all before, but God has put so many lessons in nature. They're everywhere. And the one thing, people ask me, how do you get a Noah? I've given you many secrets on how to get a Noah. One of my main secrets is I have tried to use, by way of the Holy Spirit enlightening me, I have taken almost everything and turned it back towards God. Okay? I've used his creation to point back to him. And that's how I've raised my son. I've raised my son, giving him the best I could on the scientific side of things, and then pointing that straight back to the creator of them. And that's given him a respect for God. He's learned a respect for me. He's learned a respect for nature. You know, hunters are some of the greatest conservationists on the planet. And there's just so many things that you can get from being out in God's creation, away from man's creation. Just being still and listening is a big deal.
No, we agree with you 100%, Lamar. And I think we said this before, but you have to disconnect from the world and reconnect with the people that mean the world to you.
That's right.
And we're going to do a show about the biblical impacts of hunting and parenting on another episode. But you've nailed a lot of awesome topics with how the Bible and God is related to our country and how we can get our country back on track with those instructions.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Because that's what the Bible stands for. Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
That's right. That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, that's real good.
So wrap it up, Noah. I think you're out. Are you allowed to take another turkey? I mean, does your season allow you to take another bird?
You have to take 2 birds per season.
Yeah, I think we're allowed 2. Pretty sure.
All right, that shot was pretty good, Noah, but this time I want you to hit it in the eyeball. Okay, we're gonna make that 2-inch, spot down to like a 1/4 inch. Can you hit it?
I'll try.
We got a secret weapon for videoing your next escapade, and we're not going to disclose it now, but we're going to talk about it in the future, and we're going to do some training. So that's for the future, and we're going to hopefully see the video of this incredible hunt that, like the bird dog said, high percentage of male and female hunters have never accomplished.
You know, it's funny, you were talking about how it was a great feeling and all that good stuff, and I was looking over some of the video from our hunt at the Santa Fe River Ranch with Hayden, and I was super excited that he shot the bird, and my heart was pumping when the gobbler came up, and our gobbler didn't drum at all. I don't think he just ran up and started.
He gobbled a lot, but he didn't run.
Yeah, he came up and you're talking about how yours stopped a little bit, then he went towards him and then stopped. Ours made a beeline right for the decoy and just started spurring the heck out of him. And I mean, he was mad as ever, and he was not gonna. He got there so quick that Hayden, I had already told Hayden that, listen, this decoy is like a $700 decoy, so we're not going to shoot the decoy. And that bird was all over the decoy. He almost couldn't get a shot. And Jake was sitting next to us, the actual owner of it. And he was like, I was like, don't shoot yet, don't shoot. And Jake's like, you might as well shoot. He ain't gonna get off that decoy. So he made that shot. But my point, what I was trying to say is, I was watching the video, and you don't always know what's going on. So I have a GoPro that's going inside that shows the inside of the blind. So it shows myself and Hayden in the blind when Hayden shoots. And we're all high-fiving, whatever, great job, whatever. I run out, and I didn't know this. Now, Frank was in a blind next to us shooting video as well. He wasn't in the same blind as us, thank goodness, because we were in a small blind. But I'm watching the video, and sure enough, here comes Frank into the blind with Hayden after I left him. I ran out to go get the bird. Hayden's still sitting there, like, his heart was probably still pumping. And he just comes up from behind him and gives him a big old hug and pats him on the back. He's like, nice job, nice job. And I captured a great moment right there, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, that was good stuff. That was good stuff.
So y'all get to see that when we put the video out, because that's definitely going in there. But you just see, not even just me because it was my grandson, just because a kid was out there. He did a great job, and Frank was so excited. He came over and gave him a big old hug.
Well, that's why we started this program, not only to be in the schools, but to get out in the woods. And we really appreciate, Team Amen coming on board today and doing this show with us, because everything that you said, both of you, is spot on, and we really appreciate the fellowship and the friendship that we've experienced with you guys.
Dan for you. Noah was supposed to be going to get an alligator tonight, but Dad was a little tired, and we decided to be on the Sergeant Frank Bird Dog show.
Well, we appreciate it, and I'm sure the alligator appreciates it.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. And if any of our listeners want to watch Lamar in action, you can see what was that? What did we name that video on our YouTube channel? Was that it was Savannah?
I think it's Savannah.
Yeah, but I did I call it Savannah? I can't remember.
I think so.
So you can go to our YouTube channel at Adopt a Cop USA official site, and under the Outdoor Crusaders part of it, you'll see a bunch of videos that we done. You can actually see Mr. Noah Aman in action. We got a fishing show with him. We got a Chief Brody show with him where he talks about and does pedestrian safety. But anyway, go ahead.
He's also in our video. He's actually in the intro of our outdoor show.
Yeah,
every USA.
Exactly. Yes. We made an intro and it goes on every one of our Outdoor Crusaders. So he's in that. He gives a high five to Dave Bray USA. I remember what he's in there doing now.
And you guys have a channel too, don't you, Lamar?
Well, Noah has a channel. It's A-Man's Adventures, but the way you got to be careful with that one, it's capital A dash Man's, M-A-N-S, Adventures on YouTube. He only has 2 videos up because Dad hasn't done a real good job at, us finishing them up. But hopefully here shortly, there's going to be a lot more added on there. Some of them may be close to a year old, but, you'll be seeing him before his hair got curly. But,
So say the address again, Lamar. It's A-Man's Adventures.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to scroll down, and you'll see a little picture of Noah with an alligator on his shoulders. But we've got a couple of alligator hunts we want to put on there. We might have a egg harvest to put on there. Not sure. I think he shot his doe.
Yes, sir. We
put that on there. And then, of course, this turkey hunt. We got pretty good. We got a lot of footage, to show you all the aspects of everything. We've just got to wrap up some interviews to go in between the scenes.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, if there's anything we can do to help produce any of your shows, we're always here to help.
We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we'll come out. We're pretty busy, but we'll come out, and if you just want us to film what y'all are doing and stay out of the way, we can do stuff like that too.
Well, I think him and I are just going to have to pick a day, like maybe after we finish turkey hunting this Saturday or something, and just maybe do all of our interviews out in the woods, because you guys have been to my house, you know, between the cows, the chickens, highway, like 15 women I got living in the house, and the boyfriends and the friends' friends, and everybody coming and going. There is not a quiet moment anywhere around here.
And mom's cunts for quitting.
Right.
Well, sounds great. So again, thank you guys so much for sharing your incredible experience. Noah, congratulations on a phenomenal shot. I'm sure Robin Hood is jealous. And of course, as usual, thank you, Bird Dog, for all the work that you do, the production, and all the behind scenes that people can't see you pulling your hair out. And that's pretty much why he doesn't have any hair, because dealing with Sergeant Frank, he's lost all of it. So
I pulled
again,
it all
thank
out
you guys.
and pasted it on the bottom. Now I got a beard.
So again, thanks everything, all our listeners, you know, and Lamar, thank you so much for bringing up the most obvious, you know, to thank God for everything that we get to enjoy in this country and in nature and with our families. So all the officers and deputies out there, be safe. And thank you guys again so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Getting an update, we have a 10-year-old male lying on the ground with a gunshot wound, unknown exactly where, unable to verify the breathing. Delta 14, 1048.
Listen, young one, it's not cool to be a thug. There is nothing good about going selling drugs. The money don't mean nothing when you're harming everyone. And you can get killed bringing pain to your mom. Take illegal substance and you can OD. Overdose from nasty chemicals in the street.